Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger.
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that. But you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The only podcast to travel the 7 seas of bisexuality and come back with pirates looking for more. That's Simone LaRue.
And that's Chad Ekowitz, who apparently watched very different movies to me.
Okay, so this is my theory.
Okay.
Okay, listen, for our listeners, we're doing Pirate Week. Shut up. Everyone knows we're doing Pirate Week. We're done with this ruse now. We're not going to lead up to it
charade.
anymore. The charade is done. I have a theory that
Okay.
the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are what made Gen Z the most sort of outwardly and openly bisexual and
Okay.
non-binary
So
generation.
not years of progress and activism and
No, it was pirates. It was pirates only.
Please
Because
explain to
not
me.
only do you have the super sexy androgynous Keira Knightley, who is just beautiful no matter what. Everyone loves her. Man, woman, non-binary.
Okay, you know what? Just
everyone
because she has a
falls in
square
love.
jawbone doesn't mean she's androgynous, but okay.
Wow, okay. Is that from the Society of Women with Square Jaws, which you are very clearly a
Just because we have
part
great
of?
bone structure.
There's a meeting every Wednesday. You have pamphlets and everything.
There's a support group.
So she is androgynous and she's beautiful. Whatever. Then you have wow. Okay, fine. Fuck. There's a whole other rabbit hole that we need to get down at some
Fair
point.
enough.
Maybe we should do a Keira Knightley week so
Ooh,
you can
don't
discuss your
tease me.
feelings.
Don't tease me.
Okay, so you got her. Then you got Johnny Depp.
Mhm.
Obviously
Obviously.
bisexual. He
Oh.
screams it without
Yeah,
question.
Johnny Depp
Um,
has for sure fucked a dude. And
Oh,
I say
without
that with like
question,
so much
without
love.
question.
He's not a good person, but
No. But he's had the opportunity
Yeah.
and he's taken it
He's
because
taken
life
it.
is an experience.
he's taken it.
Yes,
Whether he was
absolutely.
entirely sober at the time is doubtful, but I don't think he's sober through many of the things he does, so it's not really an
Yes,
indictment.
I think definitely. I think maybe 20 days out of 365 in
Yeah.
a year, he might be sober. And that's when he chooses to do another Pirates movie, which is his mistake, not ours. And then, of course, you have Orlando Bloom, who is the Twink King. And he represents all of us young twinks, even though I am no longer a twink.
Yeah, I was
I'm
about to
otter
say,
now.
can you call yourself a twink?
No, I've left the twink life behind.
What are you? Are
me.
you an otter?
I'm an otter. Yeah. I'm an otter now, which is kind of cute. I kind of like
yeah,
that.
congrats.
It's adorable. So that is why Pirates of the Caribbean, based on those 3 characters, is just the most non-binary bisexual energy, and it just permeated through Generation Z, and and infected them with the beauty that is the spectrum of sexuality.
You know, I think pirates have a certain like flair and progressiveness to
Mhm.
them that you don't get from a lot of
Definitely.
other genres, right? Like these are people
Oh,
who
yeah.
like wear shiny shit and love gold and like dress
Mm-hmm.
really fucking cool because they don't care about society. And they're on
Exactly.
an island. And very progressive. They're very not ableist. There are peg legs, whatever. You got to wear an eye patch.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Hop on board. It's fun. It's nice. Everybody just gets along. You just help them find the treasure. You make sure your part of the deck is swabbed.
Exactly.
That's an innuendo. You just really need to keep the deck clean, and you're all right.
Look, we could go into innuendos of ship and
We'll be here all
piracy.
day.
But we'll be here all day. But yeah, I think you're 100% right. Pirate ships are an HR dream. Everyone just does their part. Everyone's included. Everyone
Do
knows
they-
their place, and it's great.
Do they maim and murder people in real life? Yes.
Yes.
Is it problematic socioeconomically? Absolutely.
Maybe.
But we're talking about movie pirates.
Yeah,
they're
they're the fun
fun.
ones. Yeah, the murder is fun. It's put to a good soundtrack, and everyone forgets that people have died.
Yeah, they've got some
and
sea shanties. Those are trendy again.
Exactly. TikTok is going crazy for sea shanties. So how could you not enjoy pirates? You know, I'm very surprised that our boy Martin Scorsese hasn't made a pirate film since he loves heroing villains. You know, that's his vibe.
Yeah, but he doesn't know
Or
how
is
to
it
have
only
fun
white
with
guys?
it, does he?
Yeah, that's also true.
Uh,
Very true. So since we are doing Pirate Week, what movies are we doing this week, Simone?
We are doing the latest installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Dead Men Tell No Tales. And we are also doing the classic box office flop, Cutthroat Island, which I actually really enjoyed.
I thought it was brilliant.
So
I
fun.
love this film.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because, as we always say, we've watched so many bad movies. We just fucking love these things now. But you know what? This and Waterworld kind of had the same kind of vibes for me, and I
Yeah,
love them both.
They definitely have that. The budget was too big for the film vibe.
Yes. Yeah, way too big. And you've just got these weird psycho characters that you just kind of fall in love with. And yeah, things are weird, but hey, fuck it. Why not? It's a pirate movie. It's yeah. So let's decide how we're gonna structure this. What are you drinking today?
I, Chad, have gone back to my old ways, and I am having a whiskey on a
Oh,
Sunday
bad bitch is back.
afternoon.
Oh yes, that is beautiful.
It's winter. I need something to warm my chest.
There
The
you go.
whiskey's doing just fine.
You sound like an 1800s writer sitting in a cold cabin. I
As
needed
opposed to
something.
in Cape Town, where it's like 17 degrees outside.
Yeah, you make me mad with that kind of thing. It's like
It's
Durbanites
17
who
degrees there
complain.
too.
No, it's 19. So we beat you. We beat you. This is our summer. Hot girl summer
Oh,
is
God.
19 degrees.
This is why I could never live in the UK. I'd be fucking miserable.
Look, I still haven't acclimatized, and I've been here for what, 5 years now.
Mm.
This place, you know, you're South African by blood, and that means you have very, very thin blood that does not warm you.
No.
These are
no.
facts.
I
Yeah.
literally can't make my own body heat. It's a problem.
No. Plus, you're a bird. Like, you are built like a bird. You
Thank you.
cannot.
Stop
You
it.
cannot regulate
Stop
heat.
it. Yeah, so fun story, when Rudy and I first moved in together, I had an electric blanket, and he was all like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm a man. You shouldn't need the electric blanket. You've got me." And I was
you
like,
fool.
"Okay, like fair enough." And then he had like 2 weeks of me just putting my cold feet on him the whole night, every night. And he was like, "I think you should put the electric blanket on your side of the bed." I can't live like this.
Oh, the man had high aspirations. You know what? There are certain mountains that you need to look at and just not climb, and
You
cold
know
feet
what?
are not one of those.
Well, now it's fucking luxury, actually. What you do is you put the electric blanket along the bottom of the bed,
Uh-huh.
right? And you turn it on like while you're brushing your teeth, getting ready for bed. And then when you
Mhm.
slide into bed, your feet are all toasty.
That's very interesting. That is an interesting use of the electric blanket. So instead of heating your whole body, you just heat
Well,
your
no,
feet.
because he also
which
gets
is-
some.
Oh,
um,
right. Okay. Yes.
So I'm being kind and sharing. But also it is nice because mainly it's my feet that are cold. The rest of me,
Yes.
like, I'll manage.
You
but, like,
regulate your body heat.
yeah,
pretty
and it
well.
also just gets some heat going generally under the blanket. Like, I just need help
Mm.
getting started.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's
the
fair.
blanket
I think
can't
that's a pretty
hold
good
in
thing.
any heat for me if I'm not generating it. So I've
Exactly.
I've gotta have
It's like
some
a
sort of
jacuzzi
heat
coaster.
source to get me going.
Exactly. Everyone knows that's how it works. What I found really strange is in this country, electric blankets are not really a thing. Like,
But you
you
guys
would
have
think,
like indoor heating and double glazing, and all that stuff. So like your interiors are actually pretty warm.
yes, that's
general?
true.
Whereas
But
in South
also,
Africa,
it is still
like,
fucking freezing.
when it's winter here, it is winter inside your house.
Mm. That is, you make a very good point. But also, it is really cold up here.
Well,
And
maybe
even in
this
the
is
north, like
this is what you do.
in Scotland, yeah, I think this is a thing. Be like, guys, I understand that things are warmer, but still, you can be comfy in bed. How nice would that be?
Imagine.
Guys,
Imagine getting
secret.
into bed and
Could
the
you
sheets
imagine?
aren't fucking ice blocks.
You no longer have to live in an 18th century castle. All you have to do is just have this thin sheet that warms itself, and then you're warm, and the night goes by wonderfully. I think the UK would be a much nicer place. We wouldn't have had breakfast. We wouldn't have had Brexit if it had been for the electric blanket, because people would have like had really good night's
Coming
sleep.
in with hot
and we would have just been
opinions
cozy.
at the moment politically.
Look, I'm on fire today. It's sunny. I'm happy. I'm wearing a shirt that's got tiny little shells on it. You know, I'm
Fair
feeling it. Let's
fair
go.
enough, fair
Let's
enough.
solve racism. Fuck
Let's
it.
solve racism.
Let's solve it. Let's, you know, the Israeli Gaza Israeli Palestine thing. Let's do it.
We're not
Fucking
touching that.
Well, I looked for some rum. I thought we had some rum in
Yeah.
the house,
Oh,
but we did not
sure.
have rum, unfortunately.
Oh,
So I went for the next best thing, which was gin,
Right.
because I feel
Yeah.
like gin was a very sort of, you know, hot commodity
very
during that
colonial
time. Yeah,
type of
exactly.
drink. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And the gin brand that I'm drinking is Beef Eaters, so that's kind of perfect.
Nice.
Plus,
nice.
extra little bonus, blood orange gin.
Ooh,
blood, that vibe. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
very cool. Very cool.
So mine comes in at 37%. I don't know what yours is.
I have
with
no
the whiskey.
idea, but I feel like I went first last week. So why don't you take us away with pirates?
I shall, and I'll tell you why dead men tell no tales. So this movie takes place sometime after the events of the last Pirates film. Elizabeth Swann, played by Keira Knightley, has now settled down somewhere on a far-off island with her son, Henry Turner. Why didn't I name who Henry Turner is? Give me 1 second, because we have to say who he's played by. I don't know why I didn't include that.
How embarrassing.
Pirates. I know, this is not the professionalism that you come for.
Like I don't just improvise a synopsis based on the cast list.
Yeah, but you're so much better at doing that than I
Mm.
am. So Henry Turner is played by Brenton Thwaites.
Oh.
So, yeah, he's living with him. One night, while still a boy, Henry decides to drown himself. The purpose of this, of course, is to meet up with his dad, William Turner, played by Orlando Bloom, who, as we all remember, is now the captain of the Flying Dutchman. When the two meet, Will tells Henry to forget about him, that he will never be free from the curse of the Dutchman, and that he should move on and live an honest and full life. Henry basically says screws that, and tells his dad about the myth of Poseidon's trident. Basically, whoever holds the trident of Poseidon will be able to break any and all curses made at sea. Will tells Henry that it has never been found, but Henry believes he can do it. Some years later, Henry, now an adult, is out on the hunt for the trident. He has somehow fallen in with the British colonialists and works as a deckhand on a ship that specifically goes out hunting for pirates. His purpose for doing so is that he's looking for Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp. Jack is the only person who could possibly lead Henry to the trident, purely on the basis that Jack has a magical compass that points you in the direction of whatever you want most in the world. So, one day, the ship that Henry's on is chasing down some pirates. Unfortunately, the pirates are leading the ship into the Devil's Triangle. The myth surrounding the rock formation is that whoever enters there never returns. Henry tries to stop the captain, but being the arrogant Englishman that he is, he doesn't believe him. Once in the Devil's Triangle, things go horribly, horribly wrong. Out of the darkness, a dilapidated ship springs forth. The crew, an ashen, ethereal band, boards the British ship and basically slaughters everyone. They're not fighting back because there's no point fighting back because these guys are all ghosts. Henry is about to die when he starts to beg for his life. The captain of the ghost ship, one Captain Salazar, played by Javier Bardem, tells Henry not to worry because he always leaves one person alive to tell the tale. That was my best scene, just as a break.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing when Javier Bardem goes, no, don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. I always leave one person alive to go and tell the tale.
And Henry's
I
like, oh.
posed myself.
Oh, okay.
Best scene ever. Like, that's why Javier Bardem is the best. We'll get into it, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
perfect.
he's so fun in this. Yeah.
So, Henry tells Salazar his plan anyway, and Salazar says that he actually has a message for Jack Sparrow, as he calls him. Once the curse is broken,
Ooh.
he will find. I love it. It's so good. When he says that.
Javier. Even covered
Javier, yeah.
in barnacles. Like, what are you doing to me?
Sparrow, stop it, you beautiful man.
I didn't turn this movie on expecting to be turned on myself. Like, good
Hence,
Lord.
Gen Z, the most sexual nature, the most sexual generation that we have. So he tells Henry this message, which is basically, once the curse is broken, he will find Jack Sparrow and he will kill him. After lots of hijinks, Henry and Sparrow meet up. Henry tells Jack about what Captain Salazar said, but it's already too late for Jack. He has given away the compass. By giving away the compass, the curse that Captain Salazar was talking about is broken. Now we can come and hunt Jack down and kill him. See, when Captain Salazar was still alive, he was a pirate hunter too. He had almost eradicated the pirate problem, except for one holdout, Jack. In a daring move, Jack was able to lure Salazar into the Devil's Triangle and kill him. That's when the curse was born, turning Salazar and his crew into these ghostly cursed beings. That's also where Jack got his name. Salazar called him Sparrow because he was so flighty and impossible to catch. Now that Jack had given away the compass, the only way to save his life would be to find the trident and break all the curses of the ocean, including the one that was keeping Salazar alive. Somewhere along the way, they team up with Karina Smith, played by Kaya Scodelario, who is the only person who has the map to the trident. Later, they also catch up with Captain Barbosa, played by Jeffrey Rush, and all of them go on their merry way to find the trident. More shenanigans ensue, but eventually they get to the trident. They then realize that they have to break it in order to break every curse. They do so in the nick of time, as Jack is about to be murdered by Salazar. All of the curses are now broken, Salazar and his crew disappear, Jack goes on with his life, Will Turner is freed from the Flying Dutchman, and everyone lives happily ever after. The end.
The end. Chad, what is your cliffhanger?
So it has to be this one, and it's when they're on the ship and Henry's sort of like getting feelings for Karina, and he starts talking about, you know, advice for dating a brunette: don't sleep with her sister, and if you have to sleep with her, like blah blah blah, savvy. Now this is where I think the film loses its oomph, is because what I loved, and I think that what a lot of people loved about the original Pirates and even the second one, was these really convoluted monologues from Jack Sparrow, which don't really make sense, but kind of make sense. And then he says savvy at the end and everyone's confused, and it's funny and it's adorable. This was just nonsense.
So I know, like, they kind of built the Pirates movies off of Jack Sparrow's highly unreliable back. And they shouldn't have, right? Like, he's a side character at best. And then also, I think it was the YouTuber Sarah Zed. She pointed out, was it Sarah Zed? It might have been Lindsay Ellis. One of those pointed out, like at first Jack Sparrow was like fun and cute, like, oh, he's this weird drunk pirate dude, but like now, as we read about, like, Johnny Depp spent $500,000 on wine in 1 year, as like videos circulate of him downing a bottle of wine for breakfast, him playing a drunk pirate character. It's just a little like, oh honey,
that's a bit icky.
Like, how much acting are you doing right now? I don't know. It's I don't know. The character hasn't aged well. They keep being like, oh, it's what, 20 years later? He looks exactly the same. And he hasn't really changed much or gone through any kind of character growth. He's just this like really frustrating character that for some reason we keep having to put up with again and again. Like, even fucking Barbosa has grown and changed over time.
No, you're so right. You're absolutely so right. It is very funny that, you know, I guess what happened was the first one came out and they weren't expecting it to be such a success with Johnny Depp being Jack Sparrow, and then he fucking killed it. Like, everyone went crazy for Jack Sparrow as a character, and they were like, right, we can cash in on this. Number 2, we'll feature him doing more crazy stunts. Number 3, okay, we need to start divesting from this. And then they saw how badly number 3 did, and they were like, right, for the 4th one, instead of just going, cool, we'll call it quits. A trilogy is a nice way to just wrap it up in a nice little bow. They were just like, nah, we got to do another one. And we'll just kind of change his character and make him really fucking boring. And so you're kind of like, you're left with this kind of idea of like, okay, Jack Sparrow isn't technically the main character in any of these films, but he also is just because of his clout. And now you've got to make him really boring, and there is no real main character, because I mean Henry
it's
Turner
always
is
some like
milquetoast
male protagonist who like is trying to be like Orlando Bloom but not managing, and there's some brunette love interest who's either a love interest possibly of Jack Sparrow, but mainly of the milquetoast protagonist, and it's just exhausting, like It's the same plot every time now, right? It's
Every
like, oh,
time.
character wants X, maybe there's a girl involved. He must find this magical item. There's a
Yes.
witchy lady, there's Barbossa, there's an angry dead undead pirate. Sometimes the angry
Yes,
undead
and the
pirate
British.
is Barbossa, sometimes it isn't. And then
And the
there's
British
the
are there
British.
too.
And
they're also there doing things.
and then shenanigans ensue.
Yeah. No,
And
you're so
that's
right.
like
And then at
that's
the
the whole
end,
plot every
everyone
time.
leaves. Yeah. Yeah. It's unbelievable. And I mean, this will go into my scene that could have saved it. But essentially, with the ending of this film, literally nothing has happened over the last 15 to 20 years. Because at the end of this film, Barbossa is dead. So he's out of the picture. And
Yeah.
he was dead to start with.
Oh,
I
shame.
mean,
They
he
gave
was
him
undead.
such a nice
but
little death, though. Like that was like the
it-
one emotive moment in this whole fucking movie.
Okay, you and I read that scene really differently then.
Did you
Because I
hate it?
fucking hated
Did you
it.
hate it?
Because I was
First of
like,
all, I didn't
why?
think he had to die.
No,
Like,
thank you.
I think that was
thank
very
you.
superfluous.
Yes, it was so pointless. It was so pointless for him to die. Like, there was no sacrifice. Javier Bardem is like climbing the fucking thing, and he jumps off, and it's pointless. Like, it's fine. They would have gotten away. It would have been
Yeah, it would've been
fine.
fine.
Like, yeah, but he was just like, oh, I've met my daughter now. Everything's gold. You know, and we're all good, and I can die now. And it's like, okay, fine, but no. But yeah, and then Jack Sparrow's got the Black Pearl again, and Henry and his family are fine, and Keira Knightley's
Keira Knightley was paid $1 million to appear for 5 seconds in one scene and make out with Orlando Bloom. So who's the real
best
winner?
job ever. Could you imagine just getting that phone call? I'd be like, I don't want to be in this film. I'll be in there for $1 million.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be
no
her
words.
20 years later, having barely aged.
It's perfect. So nothing has changed. Like, this whole series was for naught. And yeah, that really frustrated me because, like you said
Yeah.
right in the beginning, Jack Sparrow doesn't change and everyone around him just dies. And it's very, very boring in that respect.
Yeah.
However, bringing Javier Bardem into this movie was the best decision they could have ever made, ever.
He was a great villain. He was so good. His accent in this, phenomenal.
Perfect.
Radiating evil, radiating malcontent. I
Mhm.
loved him. I loved him. He was a fantastic villain, wasted on this movie.
Look, we have a very special place in our hearts for Javier Bardem.
Doesn't everyone,
Um,
though?
He is such a sexy man, and I think he could be in anything and we'd be happy.
Oh my god.
We like, he is so wonderful, and yeah, like you say, he's just got that great level of menace to his soul.
Ugh.
Like, that's what makes him such a great villain in things like No Country for Old Men, and you just want him around all the time. I think, yeah, it's also his performance in this was just so naturalistic and as well. And I think that really kind of added to it, because that scene, I know it's like such a fucking laugh when he was just like, no, don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. Always leave one person alive. Don't sweat it.
Yeah.
Hilarious, but also very natural. That is how people would act in the real world. And I fucking love that.
Yeah, no, he's again so wasted on this movie. I also think, like, my theory also with Jeffrey Rush, who I love Jeffrey Rush so
Yes.
much, and it's clear he just has the best time doing these movies. Like, he goes all in on the ridiculous pirate accent, and when Barbossa
Yes.
like laughs, he does this really abrupt, like, open mouth cackle. And it's
Yes.
so good every time. You can tell it comes from Jeffrey Rush's soul.
Like, he obviously, after the first one, he didn't think he was coming back, and then he just became such a staple character of this. And you know what, like, he just like you say, he leans into it beautifully. That whole scene where you first meet him again in this movie, and he's like got the flamboyant ship and there's like a band playing,
Hearing
and
Turkish
he's just like,
delight off the tip of a dagger. Fuck yes,
what
man.
a fucking badass. I love him in this. So yeah, like, I think the surrounding cast, they obviously, you know, have moved away from your boy Johnny Depp, and rightly so, because we should be slowly just edging away into putting him in oblivion. And so you've got these really great characters, and you know what? I actually would have probably preferred this movie if it was just Barbossa and Javier Bardem.
Jack Sparrow did
like,
not need to be
straight up.
involved at all. Did not care
No,
for him.
neither did Henry Turner or any of them. Like, just have it that Barbosa and Kira
Yeah.
and Javier Bardem are fighting.
For
Yes.
sure. What did you think of the female character in this? It's not a trick
You know
question.
what?
It's not a trap.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the like, okay, am I gonna get cancelled? How is
Wow,
this gonna work?
interesting.
I think it's funny that you say that. I think, you know what? It was an interesting character to put in a movie where she basically should have not been there.
Yeah.
Essentially, there was no point for her to be there, really.
She could read
she
the
was a plot
map.
device. She could read the map. It was a typical Disney sort of feminist, you know.
It's always such a
brownie
shortcut
point
for them.
grab.
They're like, what if this girl likes science?
Mm-hmm.
They did it
And it
in
was great.
Dumbo.
It's such an easy cash grab for them.
Yeah.
And I think that was it for her, because she was just, you know, oh, she's a witch, hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes, we
And
get it. The joke is funny, and then it's over.
It's poor world building a little bit, right? Because it's one
Yes.
thing to have a character who like defies society and does this thing, but there's no real clear indication of like why or how she in particular does this. Like they're literally like, yeah, we dropped her
Yeah.
off at an orphanage with this book and she taught herself astrology. And like they don't explain how, they don't explain why.
No, it's and then she's just suddenly Barbosa's kid, and you're just like, oh, okay, fine,
Yeah.
I guess.
And so it's like, okay, so like, but she's got this can-do like, where did she get this from? Where did she like learn not to give
Yeah.
a shit what people think about her? Because orphanages back then were famously
Awful.
not a great
yes.
place to be.
No, exactly. Like
what
it is so
happened?
shocking.
Who adopted her? What are we talking about here? Like they just kind of glossed over
Yes.
all that and they were like, here, ladies, here's a smart girl.
Enjoy a woman
That's
who
what I
likes
wanted
science.
from the movies, not to just remove every disgusting misogynistic thing Jack Sparrow says.
Yes, because that's also like his vibe in this.
It's
Like
still
when he's
played
just like,
for laughs, and it's so fucking gross.
and this was made in 2017. Like I understand we were getting towards the end, but it's not
No.
time enough. So fuck, guys. Like this was a nightmare for Jack Sparrow. I think these should. What did you think of the other Caribbean films? Like where do you think they should have stopped? Because obviously they went too
Yeah.
far.
Honestly,
here.
honestly,
yeah.
Because I thought Davy Jones was a very cool character.
Yeah.
And that was what, the end of the second movie? End of the third movie?
Second, I think even. I don't even think it was as late
I
as
think you
3.
you stop at the second. You're like, you know what? The sequel did okay. We don't have to go further. And you let it go. Like
I think you're right.
everything else after that is just like madness and the same plot repeated over and over again, and Jack Sparrow getting progressively less funny.
Yeah, straight up. It's heartbreaking to watch these films age, because you know I love the first one. I think the first
it's still
one
one
is
of my
just
favorites.
so much fun. And then this, and yeah, it's really, really sad. So yeah, I mean, what else did you like about it from just
Like I
a
said, I
general
think
point of view?
only Jeffrey Rush could have pulled off Barbosa, this like ridiculous pirate character, finding out that he
Yes.
has a daughter. And that like this one, like it's weirdly good, right? Like you're weirdly like,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah, like you don't
Okay,
care of the
Hector.
fact that it makes no sense
No.
whatsoever that he has this daughter. And like, to be honest, like, you know, that whole speech that they give, like Jack Sparrow and Barbosa are like having a chat, and it's just like, oh, you know, she's obviously, you know, Martha Smith's daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know who that is. I do not remember him.
No.
Like,
I think
hooking
it was
up with
supposed to be
someone.
like that was all a retcon. Like I don't think we were ever supposed to notice a Martha character or anything.
Well, there you go. That goes further to your point of terrible world building, that you're just going to introduce this massive plot point of these two people falling
Yeah.
in love, and then just be like,
I mean, it's not
we're just gonna-"
inconceivable that a pirate captain has an illegitimate child out there.
No, exactly. And like just keep it at that like sort of level of just being like, oh yeah, like you know, it's very clear she's my daughter
Yeah.
of my many conquests because, as we discussed right at the top of this show, pirates are just very sexual beings.
Yeah, and then they try to make it out like he was such a good guy. Like her mom died, so he left her at the orphanage. So he was very involved, clearly through the pregnancy. And it's like, my guy, you don't have to pretend that you, a pirate king, have been craving a daughter all this time.
Yeah, exactly.
But his performance pulled it off really well. He managed to make the entirely pointless death very beautiful and traumatic and sad.
Yeah. I really loved the music in these films, and you know
they're
what?
always
Like
so
they
good.
did not disappoint in this. It is just really, really fun. You know, I think the soundtracks for these films are just
So
bomb.
fun. Yeah.
If you ever want to just like have a massive hype up, that song, the like standard fighting song in any of these movies, chef's kiss.
So good.
And you can't back it. And yeah, I just think, yeah. You've seen all of the others, or have you not? Like, where did you stop?
I think I've seen all of them.
Okay. Which would you say is your favorite, and then where would you rank this one?
Obviously,
So
the
two
first
questions
one
there.
is my favorite. I honestly, I
Yes.
cannot remember the other ones. Like, the other ones are not distinct enough for me to rank them meaningfully.
Right. Okay.
Like, Jack
Yeah.
gets up to shit. There's a magic item. There's a girl that he hits on. Yeah.
Yeah.
The end.
I think. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, you said it already. Like the fact that the scripts are basically the same thing. But I do think, you know, the first one, obviously incredible, nothing better. But I do love Bill Nye as Captain Captain Octopus Face.
Yes, as Davy Jones.
Davy Jones, there you go. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
just great.
no, he was
It's so
fantastic.
lovely to see him as that. Yeah, and so I'd say like 1 and 2 are just perfect, and then I think 3 had a mermaid in it, and it was fucking weird. And then you have this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Hopefully they didn't come up with any more. Like, hopefully this was the end of it.
I think they're
but
doing
you
a
never
fifth
know.
one.
Fuck's sake! What is gonna be the story? Like, can we just the same thing, obviously.
I'm tired.
but-
I'm tired. Is all I
Yeah.
can say.
It's especially because like now, especially in the world building, you've essentially erased all curses throughout
Yeah.
the
it's done.
city. Like that's done. Like
We
what are
can pack
you?
it up.
How are
We
you
can
gonna
go
go and come
home.
back from that? Unless it's like a really historically accurate downfall of the British of the Dutch East India Company, like the massive fall of the Dutch East India
Next, Jack
Company. I
Sparrow
would watch the
fights
crap out of that.
colonialism.
That's not going to be problematic.
No.
So what's your scene that could have saved this one?
Oh man. A bunch of stuff. Just Jack Sparrow not being in it. I don't think he needed to be in it. I don't think we needed.
Yeah. Feel you.
Oh, actually, one thing I did really like was that little Sparrow origin story that they give when Javier
Cute.
Bardem is monologuing. What I did think was a very nice little like lore building touch was when he's like rescued the pirate crew, and they all give him tokens of appreciation. And as they're putting out like the tokens of appreciation, you see it's all stuff that he wears still.
Yeah.
And I was like, you
That
know
was
what?
cute.
Yeah. At first I hated it, but then I was like, actually, it's a nice little. I'll take it.
It's a nice
I'll
little
take
touch. Yeah.
And I just wish that the rest of the movie or even the series were just as thoughtful about this character, right? Like you showed his origins, and now you've told us that he then has not changed in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
He's not changed.
Yeah. He
Like,
doesn't grow
just-
a single bit.
I just want a little bit of consideration for this character. Like, I know people are like, oh, it's less fun if he grows up a bit. He doesn't have to grow up a bit, but he should probably learn something.
Yeah, absolutely. Not be in the exact same position he was
Yeah,
in 15 to 20 years ago.
Being fucking
Yeah,
useless.
no, I completely agree with you. Yeah, 100%. And that is my scene that could have saved it. It's the fact that this movie puts him in the exact same place he was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And it would have just been nice to have a nice long ass character arc where he
Yeah.
learns about these things. Because like
Exactly.
in the first one, it's sort of like, oh, okay, I needed to learn to be, you know, more or less of a shit and just like
Yeah.
give of myself. Cool, excellent. Second one, I learned that love is it conquers all. Fantastic. Third one, mermaids, because no one remembers what the third one was about.
Yeah.
Family, I think it was something to do with family. I'm not sure. And then in this one, he's just like, one day I'm gonna die, and he comes to terms with the fact that one day he might actually die.
Or even just like
and then you've got a
wow,
beautiful character.
Will Turner was cursed at sea for 20 years, and even he has managed to hang on to a girl. What is wrong with me?
And then he goes to couples therapy just for himself, learns to
Yeah,
appreciate who he
exactly.
is, you know, settles
Yeah.
down and you know,
Oh,
opens up
I
a nice
also-
little
Second scene that could have saved it. I would have really loved if Will Turner,
Uh-huh.
like the curse is broken, Will Turner returns to shore, and Elizabeth's like, we only see each other once every 10 years. Like, I've obviously moved on. Like, I've obviously been dating. Like, buddy, I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh
I don't know
my
what
God.
you were expecting. Like,
How good would that be? She comes over the hill, right? And then a
This is my
bunch of
fiancé.
kids. Yeah, her fiance comes and then like a whole bunch of kids. And she's just like, hi, it was great to see you, but
yeah.
I'm gonna
And all it
go back
was
to my
Henry
family."
just fucking hated his stepdad, and that's why he did all this.
Yes, that is the reason. He just hates his stepdad so much. Fucking Frank. He just doesn't
Oh.
understand. He doesn't let me do what I want to do.
And Frank's so nice.
And Frank's just the nicest.
Hey, sport,
don't
I'm
have
not
to
trying to
call me
replace
Dad.
your dad.
Yeah. Shut up, Frank. Of course,
Oh.
of course I want Cocoa Pops for breakfast.
The
Dick.
worst.
Would you watch this again?
No, I would not. I would not.
No? Okay. If I'm feeling particularly horny, I think I would watch this for Javier Bardem.
I would just skip to the scenes with Javier. That's true.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
How-
If you
oh.
want to get in the mood, if you're ready
So
to get a little bit
sexy
little bit
zombie
yeah.
pirate. Oh, stop it, Javier.
What a brand. What a brand. Okay, talk to me about Cutthroat Island, please.
Oh, so you would watch it again, but just for Javier. And
Oh yeah.
did you say
yeah.
you've seen it?
Just
Could've
for
saved
horny
it?
points. Yes, I did. Just, you know, stop, you know, not being 15 years in the past. Yeah.
Okay, so I am borrowing very heavily from IMDb's synopsis because someone wrote a better one than me.
Thank God they exist. Couldn't you imagine if we didn't have IMDb? We'd be so
I
screwed.
wouldn't even know. Okay. We are in Jamaica in 68. We are following Morgan Adams, played by Gina Davis. She was born and raised on a pirate ship. She is a trash-talking, hardy, brawling pirate gal. She gets called back to her father's ship in an emergency. Her uncle and a pirate, Dog Brown, played by Frank Langella, has captured her father, Black Harry, played by Harris Yulin. Black Harry has one of 3 pieces of a map to a huge stash of gold on Cutthroat Island. Dog has another piece, which he stole from the corpse of a 3rd brother, Richard, while the 4th brother, Mordecai, played by George Murcell, has the last piece. Harry refuses to give Dog his piece and attempts an escape that fails when he is mortally wounded. Luckily, Morgan fishes him out of the ocean, and while he's dying, Harry reveals to Morgan that the map is tattooed onto his scalp, so she has to scalp her dead father. Which is so
I have a lot of
horrible.
feelings. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
this because I
Yeah.
have feelings.
She has to scalp her dead father to get a hold of the map. He also gives her captaincy of his pirate ship, the Morning Star. So when she goes back to the ship, she's like, hey, maybe I should be captain. And people are like, I don't know. And she's like, no, well, I've got this treasure map. And they're like, okay, well, if you can find the treasure, then we will not mutiny and you can be the captain. And she's like, cool. So the map looks like it has Latin on it. So she's like, we just got to find a translator. Step 1. So she dresses up as a noblewoman. She goes to Port Royal to find a translator. And while there, she finds a slave up for auction who supposedly speaks Latin. She starts bidding on him, wins, and it turns out that this slave is William Shaw, played by Matthew Modine, who is apparently, according to him, a doctor turned thief who got in trouble with the wrong crowd, including Governor Ainsley. He'll be important later, played by Patrick Malahide, and he got sold into slavery. So she buys the slave. She's like, hey, I need you to translate a thing for me. But before she can get any further, she gets recognized by her wanted poster and they have to make an escape. From there, It's a bunch of treasure hunting stuff. She's trying to get maps. People are dying. She and William are double crossing and triple crossing each other all the time. It's very sexy.
Very sexy.
She gets betrayed by a bunch of different people. So ultimately, what happens is she ends up finding Cutthroat Island. She has to work with William to find the treasure. They find the treasure, but then she gets stopped again because Dog finds them and she has to jump off a cliff, and it's a whole thing. And then they're back on the ship with the treasure, and finally she's able to liberate the men. There's a huge ship battle. She gets the treasure. She gets the guy. She lives happily ever after. Dog is dead. The end.
Whee. There you have it. So what is your cliffhanger for this bad boy?
My cliffhanger is gonna be this one. And it's the bit where she is talking to William for the first time and he keeps like trying to hit on her and she's like, okay. Cool.
Yes. And that is a nice scene. Yeah. I feel you.
A great female character from the 90s. From the 90s. She doesn't get slut shamed. She just has sex with whoever. She kicks ass. That whole scene, the opening scene where she like escapes some duke who like slept with her to try and kidnap her. And she's like, no, I knew all along. I just wanted to get my rocks off. And then she like dives out of his window onto a horse and then races a horse down like a straight towards her ship. And then there's a fight. And she just like kicks a dude in the head and hops on her ship and goes off. Iconic.
Brilliant.
Iconic.
Unbelievable. Yes. This is such a strong character from start to finish.
Yes.
And you're just like, it's unbelievably perplexing why this wasn't such a bigger thing in everyone's lives, because this is fucking cool.
It's a great
from like a female
movie.
perspective. Yeah, from a female perspective, you got like, okay, awesome female pirate, self-empowerment. Yes, that's fucking role models and such. From a guy's perspective, you're also just like, this is very sexy. Woman being super powerful and confident, that's actually very sexy.
And she's a genuinely interesting character. Like she genuinely is super cool. It's actually very rare that she's like dressed super sexy or anything. Usually she's just like in a billowy shirt and some pants.
Yeah.
But she's out there.
She gets shot.
Yeah,
and
she
she's
gets
just like
shot.
totally fine.
She's kicking ass.
Like,
she's checking maps.
Yeah, she's badass. She fucking scalps her dad. Like
she scalps her recently deceased father.
That whole scene really made my day, because obviously, you know, he right in the beginning, like the dad's talking to the dog and he's just like, it's right up here in my head. And I was like, okay, cool. So it's very obviously on your head, like you've tattooed your skin. Cool. So what does that mean? What are we gonna do here? And then she scalps him and then she carries around his flesh the whole movie, and no one freaks out. Everyone is just chill about this fact.
You couldn't have gotten someone to make you a copy or
like nothing. She just like hands over this piece of flesh, and
like,
everyone's just like,
here's my dad's decaying scalp.
Could you imagine finding her dad's body on the seashore just like without a scalp, and you're just like, huh, and you just throw up.
And what a horrible idea. What a horrible idea. Getting this thing tattooed on your skull so that presumably whoever finds you, you'd hope it's a compatriot. Otherwise you just get scalped alive by an enemy. So whoever's like at your deathbed after the loss and trauma of losing you has to scalp you.
Yeah, it's a really fucking dumb idea. Like the other brother, he was very chill about it. He put it on a barrel. Like, we're all good. A barrel of eels. That's sensible. That is a good place to keep your map. Like, why make it more complicated than that? But yeah, that was a great way to open the movie. Because I mean, what was that? Like 10 minutes into this movie,
10 minutes
and he gets
in,
scalped. Brilliant.
She's fucked a guy. She's escaped him. She's kicked him in the head. She's rescued her dad by boat. She's scalped her dead father. Had a day.
And she just keeps going, and she goes through it. She gets shot. She gets beaten the crap out of.
Oh yeah,
like,
people do not pull their punches with her.
No, she gets fucking mutinied by some other guy on her ship who's just the worst. Like,
dude,
yeah, it's so beautiful. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, why did this movie do badly? Gina Davis is a fucking treasure.
I know the reason, like, it was a financial flop was like the budget just got like
Right.
bigger and bigger and bigger, and apparently the studio that was mainly responsible for this movie, they were in debt before they even started this movie, so
Oh,
they
wow,
actually
okay.
went bankrupt and closed like a couple months before the premiere. Which is not good.
No. Oh god.
But pirate movies are always like Waterworld as well. We know it's so
Mhm.
expensive because like the
So
sets
expensive.
are a mission, the extras are a mission. You need to pay more stunt people because like of everything you're doing. There are explosions. I have to imagine the insurance alone is
Oh my god.
yeah.
Could you imagine? That's nuts. Yeah. No, you're so right. And I think as well, I guess in the 90s, unlike sort of, you know, Dead Men Tell No Tales, I'm pretty sure in Dead Men Tell No Tales, a lot of those explosions were CGI,
CG, yeah.
where here they would have had to be real. And
Yeah.
you can almost see that from like the smoke.
No,
You can
and I
always
was
tell
reading
it's real.
I was reading trivia as well. The director really also
Mhm.
encouraged people to do their own stunts.
Oh my god.
The scene where Gina Davis runs through a room, jumps out of a window, rolls down the roof, and lands in a carriage. Like she had to
Good
do
lord.
as much of that as possible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the guy who plays William Shaw, like he
Yeah.
got hit on the head by a barrel in one scene, and that actually happened. That was a real thing that happened, and they just decided to keep it in.
Jesus. Good
Like,
lord.
it is a miracle no one died.
The 90s was such an incredible time. Just, you know, I mean, to be fair, it's not just the 90s, because there are a lot of films from like the 50s and the 60s where, you know, they just did these crazy
Exploited the
things, you
hell
know.
out of their actors.
Yeah. Like it must have been so dangerous to be an actor during that time. Like what a job.
Imagine.
What a crazy thing. Like I wouldn't want to be an actor. I would have to be a very serious actor doing,
Yeah.
you know, I want to be sitting in a chair for 90% of the movie. Not this kind of thing.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I think Gina Davis pulls it off. I would say the only sort of downfall of a Gina Davis in this situation is she's not very good at rousing speeches. There's
No.
that speech she gives at the end when like she's got the gold and she's like, oh,
Yeah.
you could all settle down with a farm or you could travel with me. And it's like, I know it was all a joke
Yeah.
from the guys, but I kind of get where they were coming
Yeah,
from.
I
And
was
they were
also
just like, yeah.
also like historically, no one enjoyed being a pirate. Like no one did it because they loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least very few people did. It was a horrible life. And they
Mhm.
kept slaves.
Yeah, no, they look. I mean,
They were not
we
nice.
have romanticized slave ownership. We have romanticized pirates. You know, in all of these movies, but they were really horrible people. Like rape
Yeah.
and plunder is not just a phrase. Like these
Yeah.
are things that happen.
No,
What
they lived
are you
genuinely
complaining
horrible
about?
lives. And oh no, is that a kitten?
She's moaning. She's
Look at her
moaning. So we're
little
bringing her up here.
face. Oh, her little tail. Her little oh.
Oh, okay. Do you want to
Okay.
go down? Are you gonna behave? Are you gonna go away?
Mm, absolutely
I'll let you
not.
go. I'll let you go away.
Oh, what a little baby. Her little bunny feet. I love kittens so much.
I love who you turn into when you see a cat. You turn into Alexa from Schitt's Creek. It's so great.
We'll cut this out of the episode, but I do it with puppies too. I was at the vet's office yesterday. Tiny little pit bull puppy, literally this big.
Oh my
I fucking
God.
love pit bulls.
Yeah.
This big. Okay, tiny,
Oh my God.
full of energy. Her name was Leah. And she was on a leash, but she was running around me so fast that we couldn't unwrap the leash fast enough.
That is so cute. Oh my God, that is impossible. Like, how did you not just like crush a little?
I almost
it's
ran
not
out with
cute.
her, to be honest.
I'm not surprised. You know, you've got 3 pets. You might as well make it 4.
Yeah, exactly. Round it up.
Right. So sorry for that interlude.
Being a pirate
what were you gonna
was
say?
shit.
Yes, being a pirate, horrible.
Yes, no. So yeah, just generally being a pirate was horrible. So why, if you got a bunch of gold, why on God's green earth would you be like, yeah,
Mhm.
I want to keep living on a boat and having to survive and risk my life?
Yes, 100%. You know, there are some wonderful illogical bits like this in just like throughout it. Like the fact that, you know, they fall in love. I've never met two people like it is sexy, their banter is
Yeah.
sexy, but
They
she's
do
also
banter.
just super chill. Like she's just like, you know, she
Yeah.
doesn't want to settle down with a guy, and then suddenly she's just like, yeah, this guy, this weird guy who's not really helped me out too much in this has been kind of a pain in my ass the whole way through. I want to
mean,
settle down with him.
I feel like that's how a lot of women I know have met their boyfriends. So.
Oh no.
Oh shit! No, that's not true.
Oh,
My
no.
friends are in very happy, loving relationships, and
There's so many women who are listening to this podcast now and just going, am I one of those people?
No.
So yeah, like I'm really battling to see where this movie went
It's
wrong.
just a
Like I'm so
fun
confused.
piratey romp. Like I really enjoyed it. I don't understand
Yeah.
the hate it got, and I think our listeners should check it out.
Yes, I completely agree. We'll
Give it a
we'll do this in
chance.
reverse of it, reverse
Yeah.
order. I completely agree. Highly recommend. Definitely would watch this again.
Mhm.
It's such a great callback to classic 90s cinema
Oh
of
yeah,
just
and
ridiculousness
Gina Davis,
just the
feminist
fun.
icon.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Pirates. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Watch it again. 100%. Would you watch it again? Yes.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. If I wanted to do a pirate evening, like for sure, Cutthroat Island is it.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk scene that we could have saved it then. What do you think?
I've got no notes. I really liked it.
See, that surprises me because I wrote my scene that could have saved it based on what I thought your scene could have saved it would have been, which is, can you guess it? Can you guess it? It's a pretty typical trope of yours with scenes that could have saved it.
Typical trope. Oh, people were too rational. People weren't rational enough. People needed to
No.
communicate.
Relationships. Think along relationships.
Oh, there wasn't really a lot of depth to their relationship at all. It was just sexy. A little relationship building scene would have been very nice.
Perfect. Exactly. 100%. Or they just don't get together. They're just
Yeah.
mates, like
Yeah.
throughout the thing,
True.
which is what we've always loved.
A
Like, we've
friendship
always
based
loved
on
as
mutual
friends.
respect and understanding.
Yes, perfect. No need for it. Occasionally they have sex because they're pirates. Great. But they don't need to be
Everybody
in a
gets
relationship.
drunk and bored on a ship, you know?
Please get that on a t-shirt. Or like hang a mural over your bed saying that.
Everyone gets drunk and bored on a ship.
That is cruise line slogan 101 without a
Putting the
question.
naughty back in nautical.
Oh shit, you are on fire today.
you.
What is going on? Good lord.
Just spitting slogans.
Well, thank you for traversing the seas. We've had our treasure and we've learned that the treasure was inside us all along.
Aw.
So what is your gratitude for this week?
My gratitude for this week. Oh, I've got a dog.
Yes, you
If
do
you
have a
guys follow
dog.
me on Instagram, you too can see my dog. Yes, so my parents' elderly old lady dog, she is 13 years old. They asked me to take her in because they're in Portugal. So I have, and she's so cute. She's, like I said, she's 13, so she's
adorable.
not got a ton of energy, but she's got so much spark, and she's got her gray little face, and she's
Aw.
very cute and very happy. And it's, like, I think my cats are like uncommonly affectionate and like happy to see me, but it's also wild to have a pet that actually comes when you call it the first time.
Yeah, that must be quite unknown for you.
Yeah, and we took her
because
for a little
of,
walk
the cats.
yesterday, and it was so nice. Like, so it'll be nice. Like, I think she's gonna get us out a bit more and like exploring
Yeah.
the world a bit more, which will be really nice.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I'm so happy for you. You know, unexpected happy things. I think
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's what that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what
nice.
about you?
Beautiful. It is full on summer here now, and I went out. It was beautiful. So I came home, I went outside, and as the sun was setting at like 9 o'clock, I
Mhm.
sat there with a little bit of Kings of Leon playing and a beer, and I just looked over as the
Luxury.
sun set, and it was perfect. And I was just like,
Sounds
this
amazing.
is good. And it made me reflect on sort of the last year and a bit that we've had and how far we've come and how much happier we are now than
True.
we were, about a year ago.
Oh, a year ago we
and
were
yeah.
in crisis.
Yes, we were, my friend.
I
Yes,
don't
we
think
were
about
indeed.
it sometimes. Like, I referred
Yeah.
to COVID as like, I was like, oh, we had like a mild plague. My sister's like,
It was something that happened.
it was a full pandemic, and I was like, nah, I've cut it out. I've cut it out entirely.
It was the Covey, you know? It
We
can't be
stayed
that bad
inside
if
for
it
a
ends
bit.
in
It
an
was
I.
fine. I don't remember anything significant happening, like losing my job
No,
twice.
our lives were fine. Yeah, it was all right. Everything was fine. We were
Being
fine.
unemployed for a while. And
Being stuck indoors, not able to buy booze.
having a crazy person living next door to me.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I completely forgot about
Yeah.
the crazy person.
hmm
Jesus.
hmm
Oh my god. Yeah. It's been a year. So yeah, it was just really, really nice to
Yeah.
reflect and just sit outside and be like, things are much better now.
I'm
You
glad.
know, we're on the way up. Which
Yeah,
is
look at us.
Lovely. Yeah. So Simone, what are we gonna do next week? Do you have anything?
I sure do, Chad. Because I thought
Oh,
maybe it's time for us to revisit our old friends.
yes.
I would say
Makes me
that
nervous
they're-
when you say that.
They're very stylish. They're certainly
Okay.
icons of the 90s and early 2000s.
You shut your mouth. We
and
are
of
not.
course, I'm talking about the Olsen twins.
Yes, I knew you were. I'm so excited.
But I
Yes.
thought we would do ones where they're a little bit older this time. So I thought
Okay, more mature.
more mature. So I thought New York Minute
Yes, great film.
and Winning London.
I don't think I've seen Winning London,
Oh, it's
so
good.
I'm in for a treat. Okay, but New York Minute is such a great film from what I remember. Yeah. Oh yes, I'm so ready for this. This is gonna be good. This
Mhm.
is a good week. Yeah. Okay.
You're so
I'm
welcome.
loving the journey. I'm loving the journey that you're going on right now, from Teen Angst Week to this. Like you're really
Is this a cry for help?
regressing. You're
No,
looking for a
it's not a
simpler
cry for help.
time.
I know. You know what? It's only a cry for help if all I want to watch is bad horror. Like that's when I know I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, my mental
It's
health
a bad time.
has taken a shift.
You've given me an idea for a future week,
God.
which is animated shows that went into movies from our childhood. So I'm thinking the Wild Thornberry movie
Oh.
and the Rugrats movie.
Yeah, we could do that. I think it probably needs to be done at some point.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm just gonna write that down, otherwise I'm gonna
Great.
forget that. Da-da-da. Why are you upset about this?
No,
Why aren't you
I mean,
happy
I guess
about
also
this one?
that was the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Yes.
Isn't there a Wizards of
um,
Waverly Place movie?
I feel like there would have been, right?
Yeah.
Thornberries and Rugrats. Okay. Yes. No. I'm very excited for this. I mean, that is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I do think. Yeah. If we were going bad horror movies. I mean, look. We've got all of Halloween to
Yeah,
do that.
we
all of
haven't done
October
horror
month.
in a while, to be fair.
No. Nice. That might be looming in the future. Ooh. But guys, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. It's amazing that we've built this amazing community around us, and we couldn't be happier. And
Yes.
you guys keep coming back, it just makes us really, really happy. So if you want to keep that community going, tell us what you've been watching, what you've been ignoring, what you've enjoyed, what you haven't enjoyed. Come and join our Discord. We just had a massive discussion about movie snacks and movie drinks and what everyone has, and it's honestly just opened our eyes. I mean, did you know that in America, 1,000 Island sauce is called fry sauce? How weird. Do you know
Clearly, a Thousand Island is a better name. Even though there's nothing exotic about it.
No, it's mayonnaise and tomato sauce. It's fucking outrageous.
Still one of the best toppings of all time. You know what's also delicious is mayonnaise and mustard. Creamy and spicy.
You always give me good recipes, so I trust you completely in this. So yes, if you want to give us your recipes, if you want to tell us what your movie snacks are, please do. And where can they do that, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes NP. They can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
There you have it. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Goodbye.
Bye.